Welcome back to Deep Thought. We're going through the original Mega Man, and geez, we're already at the final stage. It's like only been 2 parts.
And he's not a robot.
No, but he's got some fascinating eyebrows.
Get ready for ear rape.
Oh god, yeah, the sound that the saucer makes in this game and Mega Man 2 is annoying as hell. Also, his spaceship has a pink top on it in this game, whereas in every other game it's blue.
Yeah, they randomly changed it. It's like some weird Mr. Bean-esque early installment weirdness where they just sort of change it over and then act like the original was never that way.
In Mega Man Powered Up, they also kept it. They kept the color.
That's the thing. Powered Up, I played that quite a while ago. That game's okay as a port. I prefer the original version. I find PSP chibi graphics can be a little bit distracting, but it's competent enough as a port.
Yeah. Well, it's not a port, it's a
remake. Yeah.
There's a difference, Flame.
Yes, I know. That's why I corrected myself, fam.
You know, if you really were trying to optimize your route, you could have just not gone up the whole way of that ladder and just jumped across, but
that would imply I'm good at what I try to do. And also, when you change your weapon there, it lets go of your holding up, so...
The worst game offender of that is a certain section in Mega Man 3 where you're on rush, and you may or may not pause at one point. If you pause during like certain sections over a bottomless pit while you have rushed yet, it kills you.
Haven't noticed that, but I wouldn't be surprised given how annoying that game is.
Yeah, I like that game, but we'll get to that in time. Yeah.
Wiley Castle is basically the final challenge of the game. It's 4 stages. They're not too difficult compared to what you've done. They're more just annoying, if anything, especially Wiley 2 in my opinion. But this first stage is relatively harmless. Just make sure you have the magnet beam for an upcoming section, and the boss can be pretty annoying unless you know the pause trick, which is essentially just press the select button repeatedly, because that actually pauses the game as opposed to bringing up the menu. It's the only game to have that sort of feature.
Yeah. What that does, at least my understanding of why it continues the damage, is it just sort of resets
the hit frame.
Yeah.
Or it resets the hitbox.
Yeah, so you get that extra little grace period of being able to like let one shot count for multiple hits, which can eradicate certain enemies pretty quickly, particularly if you're using a weakness anyway.
Yeah, I'm glad you two are bringing that up now, because we're not going to be using it.
Yellow Devil, or the Rock Monster if you look at the North American manual.
Fuck this bastard.
Yeah, the way they load in is the same every time. There's only one part that really regularly trips me up, and that's where there's 2 lower ones in a row. Other than that one particular section, it's all like higher, low, higher, low. I'm being careless here because fuck it, I've got save states, but you know.
He's much easier in the Wily Wars version because of the slowdown in that.
Yes,
he's
definitely
pathetic in that version, whereas here he's actually a bit of a challenge, and you might just want to use the pause trick.
Yeah, there is that.
So I still think there's some bit of pride to be earned from just beating him legit.
Well, legit in quotations, emulation, but...
No, I'm talking about actual legit, like on an original NES, like I have. Fam.
Well, this is an emulated version of the original version, so...
I emulated my skill.
Yes.
Yeah, but after it gets to a certain point, then I realise I've still got health left, I think fuck it, and just, you know...
Might as well go for it.
Everything, yeah.
I still think this is a cool idea for a boss, even if it does take a while to kill him.
Yeah, I'd prefer it in 3, but then it's kind of piss easy in 3, so...
Yeah, but I still don't like him in 3.
Yeah, each their own.
I think he's alright in 3, honestly. Harmless.
Oh, he recovered the score for a second.
I hate this stage.
This stage is irritating, yeah. It's just...
Those rotating things with the smiley faces, I can't remember what they're called. They will knock you into so many pits, and there's also another section where they have these bombs coming out of pits, and oh fuck this level. And this game does the boss rushes much different to later Mega Man games. Basically, as you can see, we're fighting them sort of as we go. There's Cutman and Electman in this stage, and then we'll fight the rest of them later on.
Which the X series would also sort of imitate, because X1 has a thing where you encounter the Robot Masters throughout the level, and
but
it's
that game's
done
much
better.
better.
Yeah, and it's done better there as well, because they are spread out rather than let's have a couple earlier on and then 4 in a row. Like,
X does it really well, I think, honestly. I wouldn't mind if some other game did it just like X does it, to be honest, because that game did it really well.
It's just a more interesting way of approaching the boss rush, I think, because it's like, as opposed to just redoing the same shit like 6 to 8 times in a row, rather than like, if we're gonna repeat things, let's spread it out.
I don't mind that either, as long as you're not Mega Man X7 and forcing load times literally every time you go into a teleporter. But
yeah, fuck that.
But honestly, since it's sort of just like a tradition, and honestly it's relatively harmless, it's literally just fight the bosses again. It's boring maybe, but it's not annoying.
To me, it depends on game to game, because there are some games where I'm okay with the bosses, like, say,
Mega Man 2.
Excellent, like, yeah, 2, all the bosses are easy, and there's that alright,
Okay,
but then
maybe not
you
Mega
get
Man
to...
X2, where you have Wheel Gator.
Oh yeah, but then you've got games like 7, where the bosses are fucking shit, and so just to do them back to back is fuck that noise.
And then X7, where they force the load times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find the rematches quite refreshing, just to kind of go through all the bosses again and just kind of, just one by one, just bop, 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 bop,
Yeah.
bop, bop.
And since
It's
we
really
won't be
satisfying.
playing it, I also want to give special mention to Mega Man X5, where they actually make the Robot Masters harder for the rematch.
Yeah, well, that's
I don't
fair
know, we
enough,
might be
isn't it?
playing that if I decide to go through the X games.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see is the non-committed sort of response, but this is... This is
Tetris
an
room.
interest. No, this isn't. This is a clone robot that you have to fight.
But there's also Tetris blocks in the background, or some of them, like I'm looking at it now, I can see at least one Tetris piece.
Yes,
I can see 2 Tetris pieces.
But here you've just got to time it so that it's as his invincibility frame is ending that you shoot again. Because it is tempting to just sort of spam it, but that doesn't really achieve much if you're still in his invincibility frame.
Yeah, just keep him far enough back from you.
You know, he's weak to the Firestorm, you're using the wrong weapon, he's weak to the Firestorm.
I don't give a shit, that works.
Fuck you, same. Terrible at Mega Man.
Yeah.
I think we're all terrible at Mega Man.
I don't know, I'm pretty good.
No, well, I'm pretty good too, but I'm not saying I don't know.
This sure is
this
going
stage.
somewhere. Yeah,
This
the
stage
sort of
is
vibe.
easy, you just sort of have to survive the beginning part, and then the game literally walks you to the end.
Yeah, just barge through everything. I don't give a fuck. You know, the level's easy, the boss is pretty easy, so just do
The
whatever.
boss can be kind of annoying, especially if you die to it after having used the guts blocks. They don't respawn every time you die, you have to get a game over in order to have another fair chance.
Yeah, well, see, this is probably a weird thing that I get when I'm playing games, is like, if I know exactly how many hits it's going to take, and I'm pretty sure when I was recording this I had a mental count of 10 hits to kill like each little segment of the boss, like, that makes it feel easier for me, and it probably is some weird placebo effect, but it's just a thing I find whenever I'm playing games. If I can sort of count things down, it makes it feel easier, and that's what I do here. So, like, the guts blocks make it easier, but, you know.
Yeah, I neglected the guts rocks during my little playthroughs of this game. I don't know why. Looking back.
There's these guts blocks that are clearly usable as guts block weapons. Gee, should I use them or not?
Well, what you want to do really is get the first few phases done just with the Buster,
Yeah,
and then once they're out of the way,
guts
then
block them.
because they get faster, and so that's when you benefit more from having the like one hit knockout.
This boss is really weird in that the last hit that you do, it immediately cuts to the victory music.
And I love Mega Man being stuck in that pose.
It looks like he's trying to reach up his bum.
Okay.
I think he's always trying to look like he's reaching up his bum when he
Yeah,
throws
to be
something.
fair, he looks like he always, in his standing pose, he looks like he's trying to take a crap.
Okay then.
Anyway, here's the final stage of the game. It's Wiley 4, and In this upcoming section, we're going to see a load of Gutsman statues, because Dr. Wiley has some weird fascination with Gutsman throughout the series. He is going to bring back versions of Gutsman throughout the game, and he didn't even build Gutsman. It's Dr. Light's robot. The robots are designated DLN.
Yeah, I seem to recall there being like references to Gutsman, like there's the Guts Dozer in 2. I remember there being something about him, in 7, and was he one of the bonus ones in 8? I can't remember.
It was Cutman and Woodman.
Oh, right. I seem to remember him showing up somewhere else as well, but I can't think where. And yes, I'm going to do this because I'm bored waiting for the thing.
You can use the magnet beam, and there's a Yasichi right after it.
Yeah, but I'm doing it this way.
Fucking terrible.
But I'm going to get that.
You do better then.
Wait, you're going to get the Yasichi? Or the...
Yes.
I actually don't know what it's called. Yasichi?
It's Yasichi, I think.
Okay. It's actually a weapon that... It's actually a power-up that appears in various Capcom games.
They also spam the shit out of it if you play on Pussy Mode in 10.
Oh, yeah. They literally...
There's one basically every other screen because they just want to give you full health whenever.
Yeah, basically. And now we fight the other robot masters. Honestly, for some of them, I like to just stay in the teleporter and just spam them with their weakness until I kill them, and the pause trick helps. It's not cheating if you use the pause. If you don't use the pause trick the first time, you've already proven you can kill them.
Yeah, but can you prove that you can kill them like in sequence without like healing in between? Because that's where
or running out of ammo.
Or running out of ammo, yeah. Because that's where the difficulty here is. The bosses themselves really aren't all that much, as we've seen already. But it's just keeping it going, keeping the pace up.
Yeah. And in Mega Man 2 and onwards, they'd give you health after you kill them.
Yeah.
The Iceman again. Remember him? He looks like an ice climber.
He's also the piss easy boss. Like, for a stage as annoying as Iceman's stage was, it was almost gratifying to see just how pathetically easy he was at the very end.
Yeah. Also, I hate Gutsman with the Hyper Bomb, honestly, because sometimes he just bounces away from your bombs all the time, and it's really annoying to aim them. But anyway, we're at the final boss, folks.
I hope I don't trigger anyone with how little health I've got going into this.
You're not going to die, are you?
No, I'm not going to die.
We don't die here.
Firestorm.
Yeah, well, the first phase is weak to fire, then after that it's basically just what the fuck ever. No, I don't think he's actually weak to the elect beam. Like, some people do that for convenience, whereas here I'm just using the fire one still, because when you're up close to him, you get that extra little hit count, because you get the initial shot and then the thing. This can be really difficult. The difficult part of this isn't actually what he's doing, it's because the sprite flicker. Sometimes you can't actually see where his shot is, and when it's got that sort of weird spiral sort of pattern, that can fuck you over quite a bit.
Yeah, even with the old Mega Man games, Capcom were really pushing the limits of the NES.
Yeah, to the point where it does actually suffer because of that here.
Well, it's not like there's actually any slowdown going on, it's just a bunch of flickering.
I think slowdown would be easier to work with here than flickering, because flickering, I literally cannot see where the thing that's gonna kill me is.
No, you don't understand. Slowdown equals a delay in the controls, so...
Yeah, but I've played and beaten Wiley Wars. I can work with slowdown. I can't work with not... Well, I can't work with not seeing where the thing I'm meant to be dodging is. Like, you can do literally nothing if it just appears over you.
Either way,
both are shit. Yeah, fuck off, Wiley.
I think we also glossed over the story as well. I mean, it's not really anything to scoff at, but it's just like Dr. Wiley stole Dr. Light's robot master bot, made them evil. Mega Man, who was originally a housekeeping bot, got modified in order to destroy these robots and stop Dr. Wiley. So, and at the very end, Dr. Wiley asks for
forgiveness.
Yes, forgiveness.
Basically he's asked for forgiveness, and now he's redeemed himself.
Yeah, he's good now.
Forever.
He's a good guy, yeah. He's not going to be the bad guy ever again.
Right,
Also, this ended to the Mega Man games, to give them so much credit. They always have really good endings for the NES.
Yeah.
Considering the standard at the time was congratulations.
Yeah.
They're also something I've noticed a lot with a lot of the Mega Man games. They're really good at giving the illusion of this kind of parallax scrolling, which I think is just a bunch of sprites that they kind of put at different speeds.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Anyway, you go home, Astro Boy.
Yeah, this game was originally going to be an Astro Boy game, but they lost the rights to Astro Boy, so they were like, fuck it, let's infringe copyright a different way, and just change the stuff.
Oh, how things would have been so different if it were Astro Boy at all. Well, that's the end of Mega Man, folks. We'll see you next time when we take on my personal favorite in the series, Mega Man 2.
Also, hi, Roll.
Oh, who cares about Roll?
She's a lolly.